Every night before bed, we play a little game with ourselves. We lie there in the dark, scrolling through our phone one last time, imagining the perfect tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll wake up early. Tomorrow I'll finally be that version of me who has it all together. You know the fantasy. The alarm goes off at 5. You spring out of bed like some monk warrior of discipline. You stretch, you meditate, you drink lemon water that magically resets your life. You're calm, centered, unstoppable. But then tomorrow actually comes. The alarm explodes in your ear. You feel heavy, not holy. The world feels blurry, not sharp. And suddenly the monk warrior is nowhere to be found. It's just you, tangled in your blanket, whispering, 5 more minutes won't hurt. And just like that, the perfect tomorrow dissolves. The wake-up war begins. Here's what nobody admits out loud. Those first 5 minutes of the day feel like a battleground. It's not you versus the alarm clock, it's you versus yourself. The logical part of your brain shouts, "Get up! You said you would, you want this!" But another voice, the tired, heavy, deeply human voice, says, "Stay. Just a little longer. You deserve this comfort. Life is already hard." And in that fragile tug of war, most of us lose. We don't leap out of bed, we snooze, we roll over. We wake up later, rushing, panicked, already behind. And beneath it all, there's guilt. A subtle disappointment, like you've already failed before the day has even started. Why it hurts so much? The pain of failing your morning routine isn't just about wasted time, it's about broken promises. See, when you hit snooze, you're not just delaying your wake-up, you're telling yourself, "I can't even keep a promise I made last night." And that hurts in a way that lingers. It plants a seed of self-doubt that follows you all day. You drag yourself through breakfast, through work, through conversations, carrying this invisible weight, the weight of letting yourself down. Most people never talk about it, but deep down you know this is true. That quiet shame is worse than the alarm itself. The psychology of the battle. Let's get real. Morning routines don't fail because you're weak. They fail because of how the brain works. Think of your brain like a stubborn old guard dog. It hates change, it loves routine, and it's wired to save energy. When you suddenly decide to wake up at 5 after years of 7:30, your brain doesn't celebrate. It growls, it resists, it drags you back to bed because that's what it knows. We imagine we can rewrite our life in one night. From tomorrow, I'll be different. But the brain doesn't work like that. Habits aren't built overnight. They're carved, slowly, like grooves in stone. So when you declare a brand new morning routine and expect instant success, you're not fighting sleep, you're fighting biology. The emotional twist. But here's where it gets darker. Every time you fail, you don't just lose sleep, you lose trust in yourself. That's the hidden wound. It's not about waking up late, it's about the voice inside that whispers, "See, you'll never change. You'll never be disciplined. You'll never be that person." And that voice, it's cruel. It doesn't shout, it seeps in. Quietly, consistently, until you start believing it. And once you believe it, giving up feels easier than trying again. That's why so many people abandon their routines. Not because they can't wake up, but because they're tired of feeling like liars to themselves. The fantasy morning versus the real one. Let's be honest, the way most people imagine their morning routine is pure fantasy. It's Instagram perfect. Candlelit journaling, yoga in slow motion. The kind of morning where birds land on your windowsill like you're in a Disney movie. But the real morning, it's messier. Your hair is a disaster, your eyes are swollen, your phone is buzzing with notifications. And the lemon water doesn't feel like life-changing elixir, it feels like punishment. That's the gap between fantasy and reality, and it's in that gap where routines fail. The hidden truth about routines. Here's the twist no one tells you. A morning routine isn't supposed to feel like punishment. It's not about proving how disciplined you are. It's about creating a morning you actually want to wake up to. Think about it. If your morning feels like a boot camp designed by a sadistic drill sergeant, no wonder you resist it. Who would leap out of bed for misery? The key isn't to force yourself into a rigid script. The key is to design a ritual that feels good, even if it's small. Instead of aiming for a 90-minute perfection routine, aim for one tiny win. Drink water. Step outside for a breath of fresh air. Write one sentence in a notebook. That's it. Because in the war of mornings, you don't need to win the whole battle. You just need to win one skirmish. The domino effect. Imagine this. Your morning routine is a line of dominoes. Everyone tries to push the biggest domino first, the massive one labeled, wake up at 5, work out, meditate, journal, read, eat healthy, crush life. But that domino is huge. It doesn't move easily. So you push, you strain, and it topples back on you. What if instead you pushed the smallest domino, the tiniest action, and that domino nudges the next one, and the next, until momentum takes over? That's how routines really work. Not by brute force, but by leverage. The emotional resolution. So let's circle back. Why do morning routines fail? Because we think they're about discipline, when really they're about trust. Every morning is a conversation with yourself. When you snooze, you're saying, I don't trust myself to follow through. But when you win, even one tiny victory, you say, I can rely on me. And that's the heart of self-improvement. Not the perfect schedule, not the flawless morning, but the slow rebuilding of trust with yourself. Because once you trust yourself again, the war changes. The alarm isn't an enemy. The morning isn't a battlefield. It becomes an invitation, a doorway, a chance to meet yourself, fully awake, and say, I'm here, I showed up. A new perspective. If your morning routines have failed 100 times, don't call yourself lazy. Don't call yourself broken. You're not weak, you're human. The wake-up war isn't won in a single morning. It's won in persistence. In showing up for the fight again and again, even if you stumble. And maybe that's the secret. The most important routine isn't about waking up at 5. It isn't about lemon water or yoga mats. It's about refusing to stop trying. Because every attempt, every new morning, is proof that you still believe in a better version of yourself. And belief, that stubborn little flame, is the one thing that never fails.